What's up? I'm travel photographer Brendan Vanson of brendansadventures.com, and today I'm here with Tiffany of worldmeetsgirl.com, and she's unboxing the 7D Mark II. So one of the new cameras that everybody is talking about these days is the 7D Mark II, and Tiffany from worldmeetsgirl.com has got one now in her possession, and she's going to be unboxing it. Now, if you don't know Tiffany, you should head over to her website, as I've mentioned, worldmeetsgirl.com, because she is an absolute example on the fact that you don't need the world's greatest gear to take absolutely stunning photos. She's been shooting the, as I crash everything, she's been shooting the T5i for well over a year and taking images that will blow your mind. So head over there and check it out. And I think you're ready for an upgrade. I think you're due for an upgrade. So let's unbox that beauty.
I am. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about why you chose the 7D Mark II over other cameras?
Well, one was the price point, obviously.
The price point?
It's a good mid-range camera, I guess, at $1,800 just about. And well, I like the crop sensor, I have to admit it, because all my lenses are already crop sensor, and I didn't want to replace them all. And I just like that little extra zoom it gets you, because I shoot everything as a travel photographer: wildlife, sports sometimes, landscapes, stars, pretty much anything there is out there. And this just does the job, I think, at whatever is thrown at it. Okay.
Yeah. So as she's unboxing that,
let's bubble wrap for you.
I love bubble wrap. Everybody loves bubble wrap. I don't even care about the camera. I'm just here to pop this. This is really bad bubble wrap though. It doesn't make any sound.
It doesn't. Look, I think they upgraded it.
I don't like the 7D Mark II. I hate this. Get out of here. Other stuff that comes in the box, obviously with the 7D Mark II, you have your warranty, and you've got these manuals. Read your camera manual. But the CDs that come with it, we're probably going to chuck them, aren't we?
I don't need it. I don't have a photo studio, so...
Yeah, like if you have a photo studio, you remote shoot on your computer, stuff like that, you might need one. We don't really need it. We need those manuals though, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, we'll give them one.
Okay. Cable. It's a USB 3 this time. That'll give me some extra speed, hopefully.
Yeah.
And a camera strap, and Brandon loves talking about camera straps because he just upgraded his to something way better. Whoa.
I really don't like the camera straps, and I think we're going to get Tiffany one of those indigo marble straps because they're awesome. Really good straps.
And last thing in here is a battery and a charger.
Yeah.
And they're actually the new batteries.
Yeah, so
I'm excited about that.
This is the charger for the new batteries. Tiffany's just popped the battery in, and the batteries are now LPE6N.
Oh, it's
and
this kind.
They're compatible with the 60D and 60 and all the other batteries that are cameras that use this, the LPE6, but it's got a slightly bigger charge, doesn't it?
LPE6N, which got a tiny little bit more charge. We will see how it handles.
N stands for new.
New.
New. I'm sure of that. Okay, so let's talk about the camera's weight, size, and stuff like that. How does it feel in your hand?
Yeah, it feels heavier, way heavier. It's about double the weight as this one's 910 grams. For all you Europeans out there, I do not know it in pounds or whatever.
Pounds don't matter.
Pounds don't matter.
We're metric up in here.
We're metric. But this one is, I think, 580 grams. So at 910 is pretty much double.
Yeah, it's like 40% heavier.
40% heavier. And you feel it. It is a tank.
Yeah.
This thing is solid. Look at this. I mean...
One of the beauties of the 7D is the fact that it is built like a serious pro camera. It's not built soft and out of this rubbery plastic like cameras like the T5i or 60D. It's made out of magnesium alloy, and they say it's weather sealed just as well as the 1DX. And in many ways, it really does have all the bells and whistles of a 1DX, just with a crop sensor inside the body. So that is cool. It is a tank.
I'm excited for the weather sealing, because we often go out in miserable weather. When it's raining, we go underneath waterfalls, and it's just nasty conditions. I was always worried about this one. Yeah. And it started glitching out a couple times in heavy rain, and I think with this one I don't have to be as worried anymore.
They say Canon says that it's 4 times more weather sealed than the 7D Mark I. I don't know what that actually means, but you can compare it to the 1DX, which is crazy when you think that the 1DX is a $6,800 camera. We picked this up for $1,700. So
1,800 Canadian.
1,900 Canadian.
1,900 Canadian, so that's what?
About 1,700 US, 1,600 US, something like that. Anyways, in comparison, it's a great price point. So anyways, we're heading to Whistler like this weekend coming up, and we're going to run the 7D through some serious paces. We're going to test out the autofocus, we're going to test out the ISO capability, we're going to test out the shutter actuations, how fast it shoots, all sorts of fun things with it. So we'll give you an on-the-field report with it in a couple days, but what we thought we would do right now is just run through the specs here. And we've cheated a little bit because I ain't got a memory. So we put all the stats down here, and then Tiffany and I will run through them all. Let's start with
the body dimensions, as we just talked about. The weight already, and it is bigger obviously since it's heavier, and you got all these added buttons that the 700D or T5i doesn't have. So yeah, it's horizontally, vertically, it's bigger, and also like the grip feels more massive.
Yeah, so like I have normal size hands, and actually maybe even on the smaller side, and even shooting a T5i, it doesn't feel comfortable in my hands. It doesn't feel big. The 7D feels big in my hand. Yeah, I want to feel it. Like, actually that feels like really, really nice. If you want to take that, what I like about this is right away when I put this in my hand, I feel it. It melds to your hand, the way it's curved around these buttons here. And on the front, it sticks to your hand almost, doesn't it? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's heavier, it's solid. It's not as flimsy as this one.
I'm going to go out and say something that I didn't want to say. That feels better in my hand than my 6D does. Don't quote me on that. That was off the record.
Next thing you notice is the screen, obviously. As this one is just flat, normal, 3-inch screen. It's the same screen actually as this one, but the 700T tilts and twists, and I actually hate that feature.
Yeah, Tiffany really doesn't like the flipping.
Because the reason is it broke, and Brendan's old 60D broke as well and had the same feature. So
well, my 60D didn't break. It just got a bit glitchy.
It's basically broken the screen.
Yeah, so it's definitely an issue. Like, I wish that Canon would make this a little bit more sturdy. These flipping screens. But I like these flipping screens because I'm lazy. I don't like leaning over my tripod, and if I have it down and I'm shooting a landscape, I can just look down in live view and shoot that way. So it's a laziness factor. The other thing that's different with this screen is this one was a touch screen. The 7D Mark II isn't. How do you feel about that?
Also a good thing for me, because I used to happen to touch things by accident. It would just change my settings on me. Like, it was annoying.
Yeah.
I would usually have it flipped closed so it didn't happen, but I'm glad it doesn't have a touchscreen. I never needed it with this one. I think you liked it with the video.
Yeah, I think most videographers like it because they're shooting everything on live view. And so personally, I've never had a touchscreen camera or LCD screen on a camera, but I can see where it would come in handy with video, especially because both of these cameras have that dual pixel CMOS that gives you really nice, smooth gliding in your video. And with a touchscreen, you can find your focus, where you want to focus, and just tap there on the screen and it brings the focus there, whereas on the 7D you'd actually have to press the focus button.
I don't do video. I'm happy it's just a normal flat screen that doesn't do anything fancy. I just want a screen.
I think a touch screen would come in handy if you could turn it off and on. Like, you could turn touch screen off, turn it on. A touch screen would be annoying, wouldn't it?
It is annoying. I do not need it.
I feel like I'd bump it with my
toy,
face.
you know? It's like a little gimmick that you can play with, but it's like,
and again, I think you throw in a touch screen, it costs an extra $60. I'd rather just save the money and spend it on beer.
True.
Okay, let's get down into more of the body and talk about the durability. Obviously, you've got plastic and rubber with the T5i, which we're comparing it to. You've got the magnesium alloy that is sturdy, as we've mentioned, but you've also got a lot of shutter actuations capable, right?
This one has 200,000 shutter actuations, while the 700D T5i, Canon doesn't even mention it because they probably want to keep it quiet, but people on the internet guess it's about 50,000.
Yeah, I guess that usually in a year we shoot about 20,000 images.
At least.
about
20,
30,000
30,000
on the high end, depending on what we're
Yeah.
shooting and where we're shooting. And this camera's lasted over a year, so I'm guessing we're pushing close to that 50,000. So for safety's sake, it's better to just upgrade.
It will last me 2 or 3 years at least.
Yeah,
and then we'll see.
With travel photography, you want that durability because, I mean, over this past year, we've been in deserts, we've been in rainforests, we've been in the Arctic.
We've been in minus 40 degrees last weekend.
We were minus 40 last
crazy
weekend, and we were plus 40 about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, we jump all over the place, so you need that durability. And you don't want to have to be babying your camera all the time, do you?
No.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. What do we have next?
The battery.
Oh yeah, the battery. We talked about the battery a little bit. It's a small upgrade.
It's a big upgrade from this one. It's a big upgrade.
Yeah. The thing about this battery is it's made for hobbyists. This battery in general is made more for hobbyists, so it's not meant for a lot of long exposures and stuff like that. It tends to burn.
See it. This one's solid. This has some power in it.
And this one looks cheap as well. I mean, it's
this is an off-brand one right here, and it lasted me a day with like normal usage where I would shoot during the day, like normal exposures and then long exposures in the evening, and it would crap out about halfway through the long exposures.
yeah. And another one of the issues with it was being able to tell how much life was left, wasn't it?
Exactly, because this one has 3 bars, I believe, and it went from 3 bars to 0 bars in about 5 shots, so I never knew how much battery was actually left. On this one, this has 4 bars that indicate how much battery you have left, and you can always go into the menu and see the percentage, and that is awesome.
Yeah, and not only can you see the percentage, but it can actually calculate how many images it thinks you have left as well, which is cool. Yeah, and that's a feature that you don't see on the entry-level cameras that they really should plug in, because it really can't cost them anything to put that in the firmware.
The battery costs about twice as much, but I'm willing to pay that money to get it.
So Canon says on the 7D you can get about 800 shutters out of it, but we've heard reports of like 1,500 shutters. We shoot a lot of really long exposure stuff, and a lot in live view. We shoot live view a lot, so I think we'll probably be below that for the most part.
We'll see what happens.
600 images, you can get a couple days use of that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So obviously one of the biggest selling points to that camera too were the autofocus points. You have 65 all cross-type autofocus points in the 7D Mark II. And in the 6D, for example, that I shoot, you have 1. I mean, it's just a huge difference. Now, in travel photography, it's not probably as big of a deal as sports or wildlife photography, but we're travel photographers. We shoot everything, don't we?
Exactly, we shoot wildlife too, and I've missed this because with this camera I had to get the focus and reframe and all the small animals moving and happening. It's just, with this, I think I'll use it definitely.
Yeah.
And
that was one of my hesitations when I picked up the 6D, was that I was worried that only having that one cross-type, I'm going to have to focus, reframe, and I just thought it would be so annoying. The other thing is, even on a camera like the T5i, which does pretty well, it's got 9 cross-types, so if you're looking at a screen, it's 9 cross-types like this across, that's cool. The problem is, if I want to focus on something in this corner for my composition, or if I'm shooting a portrait of a person, I can't focus on that without reframing. With 65 all cross types, they're everywhere.
You're gonna get it.
You're gonna get it.
No matter where it is.
Yeah. So that is obviously a huge factor in buying this camera. So another selling point to this camera is the ISO. Everybody's talking about its ISO handling capabilities as a crop sensor.
So it's apparently one of the best crop sensor cameras in handling noise.
Yeah.
And I don't shoot high ISO much because I mostly shoot ISO 100, and when the light gets dark I just put it on a tripod and keep shooting ISO 100. But I've had a couple situations like museums, for example, bars or food photography, stuff like that, where I just wanted portraits, where I wanted higher ISO. It's not excessive, but a little bit, but this camera at ISO 400 was basically not usable anymore. And with this one, you can go up to 1600, 3200, and it should be fine still with usable files, definitely.
Yeah, that's so important. And I've shot the T5i, and really after 400 ISO, you just get too much noise. For sellable images, you can have stuff, if you're a hobbyist and you're just showing them off to your friends, yeah, you can use all the way to 1600, but you can't sell them, you can't use them, and they're not sharp enough, there's too much noise. But sometimes, like, we found one situation in China where we were shooting the 70 to 200 on both the 60D and this T5i, and we needed to be at 1600 to get it sharp, and it was just too noisy.
It was too noisy. We couldn't use it in the end. It looked fine on Facebook, you know, it's like this big, or Instagram is this big.
Yeah.
But you look at it in a bigger screen, it's just not usable.
It's not usable, and so I think that's awesome to be able to get ISO handling like that in a crop sensor.
Yeah, the range goes up to 1600 or
16,000?
16,000, sorry, 16,000, and I don't go that high. 6400 max probably. Maybe with star photography sometimes, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. So on paper, this is the T5i goes up to 12,800, and that's only a marginal boost. But when you consider actual usability, you're basically going from 400 to probably 3,200 and still getting really usable files. So that's an awesome upgrade. That's probably the biggest upgrade of all of them, isn't it?
And I do not need more. I don't need the full frame, super duper clear, high ISO images, because I don't shoot high ISO.
Yeah.
In just those few situations I need it, it will be good.
So one of the things we haven't talked about yet that I'm sure you're ready for is you want to see how fast this thing goes, don't you?
They want to see the action.
They want to see the action. Now, this is a huge selling point because it is an $1,800 camera and it does 10 frames per second. Now, the Canon 1DX, which is top of the line, $6,800, does 12.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing thing to get a camera that's only $1,800 doing 10 frames a second. Let's see how it looks. Now, we'll do a bit of a comparison for you. This is the T5i, and it actually does pretty well. It does 5 frames per second, so for an $800 camera or $700 camera, that's fantastic. It's even better than the 6D. So I'll show you what that sounds like by popping off the lens and just firing away.
Okay,
so
that's my turn.
Now Tiffany's turn. I've got to say
oh my God.
That's borderline sexual.
You're jealous, he's jealous.
I'm getting a bit warm over here. That is fast. That, like, unbelievable. I mean, 10 frames per second, if we put this into perspective, really high quality video is like 24 frames per second, not 30 frames per second. So if you're shooting an action sequence at 10 frames a second, it's like almost like a slowed down video clip.
Yeah,
it's
you will not miss a single moment.
You won't miss anything.
That's perfect.
And that's wicked for street photography. It's wicked for wildlife photography. It's awesome for a lot of things. Sports, although we don't shoot them. Even for concerts and things like that. It's really cool. And the buffer's amazing too, isn't it?
Yeah, it has a buffer of up to 130 JPEGs and 31 RAW files.
Which is crazy.
You can just shoot endlessly, basically.
Literally. If you were shooting in JPEGs and you had a really good memory card and you just held it like firing away, you'd run out of those 200,000 actuations in like a day.
Yeah, probably.
You could burn all your actuations in a day just by holding that button. That is crazy talk. Absolute crazy talk. So obviously you probably want to know about the sensors, and we talked about the ISO a little bit. There's not a massive sensor difference between that and other crop sensors like the 7D. It's a tiny bit bigger, tiny bit bigger.
Tiny.
And it's got the extra 2.2 megapixels like the 7D does, but compared to this, which is 18 megapixels, you've got an extra 2, so that does a little bit of something.
We'll see how it turns out in the...
It's marginal, really.
Okay.
So another difference between the 7D Mark II and this is the viewfinder too, isn't it?
Yeah, this actually has 100% viewfinder, so you get what you see. No nasty surprises like with this one, where the viewfinder is only 95% of the actual picture later on. So you'd always have to guess where the edge of the frame is, and you go into Lightroom later on, edit the photos, and you see someone's elbow sticking in, and
it's a problem.
Then you have to crop it down and reframe, and it's just it's not a big deal. It's just a tiny little annoyance that this one just takes care of now.
Yeah, I would say it's not a massive problem, because the worst case scenario is with a 95% viewfinder is you see less than you're actually getting.
Yeah.
It would be worse if it was more. Like if you were like, yeah, I've got that rock, and then you look and you only have half the rock. So, but again, it's nice to actually see what you're actually shooting.
It is nice to have, especially if you store a sun, right? And you want that sun right in the edge of the frame, you actually can get it there.
Yeah, rather than having a big blob. Yeah, that's sweet. Another minor change is the shutter speed. You can do high shutter speed. I said high really funny though, didn't I? I was like, high. You can do high shutter speed shooting with the 7D Mark II, it now goes to 1/8,000th of a second, whereas the T5i only did 1/4,000th. Is this something you're going to be using?
Probably not. I'm not like freezing bullets in action, so I've never used 1/4,000. I think it was always a bit lower than that.
Yeah, if anything, we're always trying to find ways to slow down the shutter speed.
Exactly. I might use it in the future. Who knows what happens?
Yeah, who knows? It's nice to have.
I will not notice it probably.
So as you already know, it's a 1.6 times crop factor, and that I think is one of the real advantages that travel photographers don't talk about, is the versatility to crop cameras. It's cheaper to go wider and it's cheaper to go longer. It's awesome. You can take this lens, the 10 to 20, and it basically gives you a 16 to 35. But when you get this 10 to 20 millimeter, it's a $400 lens compared to the Canon equivalents that are over $1,000 for 16 to 35. If you take that lens, which is the 70 to 200, and you throw this on a crop sensor, it gives you 120 to 320.
Something like that.
And first of all, they don't even make that for a full frame other than the Sigma version. And second of all, it would be bloody expensive. So that crop factor is seen as a negative from a lot of people because you don't get the high noise capability. For us travel photographers, it's seen as an advantage quite often because you do have more versatility.
Yeah, it is really perfect in every situation. Another cool thing that is added in this camera is the GPS receiver, which is up here next to the hot shoe. I personally haven't used GPS yet because I've never had it in my cameras, but you like it, right?
Yeah, I love the GPS. I have it in the 6D, and I do a lot of uploading for stocks, and it's good. I mean, you don't have to tag it yourself. You don't have to run apps on your iPhone to tag it. It's just all there. All the information is there. One of the things that I think you're going to notice that I've already noticed a couple times is that it burns your battery. It doesn't shut off automatically, not on my 6D anyway. And so if I have it running when I'm shooting and then I'm done shooting and I turn off my camera, it's still running even with the camera off, and my battery will die after a couple days. Yeah. So it's one of those things that it is awesome. I love having it. I love being able to post an image to the stocks or even 500 pics, and it shows people exactly where that image was taken. But I've got to get better at turning it off. And yeah, what else is in that camera that you didn't have in the other one?
It also has an intervalometer and a bulb timer.
Yeah.
So you don't need these extra plug-in gadgets and spend extra money because it's already built in. Yeah. It's perfect. I use it all the time. So.
Yeah. And also you have two different memory card slots. You not only have the SD card, but you've got the CF memory card slot. So it gives you a lot more leeway to mess around. It gives you a lot more leeway to not mess up and accidentally fill a memory card.
Yeah, it's also really good if you go to North Korea and they take one memory card away from you, so you have to back up.
Exactly, and we're in North Korea like every other week. So that's going to come in handy.
Obviously, I haven't tested this camera yet, but from what I hear, the viewfinder is actually highly customizable, and you can pretty much program it to show whatever you want. But it also has a level in there. Mm-hmm. And now we know how difficult it can be to keep your horizon straight, especially in low light situations. Star photography, for example, is just pitch black out there. You don't know where the horizon is. And this just really helps you keep your horizon straight.
Yeah. I think that's a really cool inclusion. And before we dump off this, and we'll probably talk about this stuff a little bit more when we get the in-depth review in Whistler, but the back, you just have so much more customizability in general in comparison to a more entry-level camera like the T5i or even a professional camera like the 6D. You've got a lot of customizability. So starting with what has now been called the nipple back here, and the nipple is great. You don't see this on the cameras that have lesser autofocus points because the reasoning for it is to let you use it like a joystick and move through your different autofocus points, and that's really sweet. You've also got this lever here right outside the nipple, and that lever is meant to let you switch between your different autofocus capabilities quickly, which is very, very handy. But if you don't need to use it for that, you can switch it for something else. You can set this up for something else, whatever you want, which is really cool. The customizability on the 7D is top notch. It's up on the level with the 1DX, and that's one of many, many reasons why you went to go with this camera.
Yeah, you don't need the screen anymore. You can just have everything in your viewfinder up here on the screen. It's
awesome.
It's awesome.
Anyways, people, that is it for the show. The unboxing of the 7D Mark II, the specs for the 7D Mark II. random chatter about the 7D Mark II. I hope you enjoyed it. As I mentioned, we're heading to Whistler in I guess
in a week.
4 days or 5 days,
Oh,
and we're going to test this out real world style on the slopes in Whistler and in the beautiful village there. So stick around for that video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to head over to Tiffany's website, worldmeetsgirl.com, to see the images that she's going to be pumping out over the next 2-3 years with the 7D Mark II. That's it for the show. I want to give a massive thanks to the Swiss Miss Tiffany from World Meets Girl for hanging here and here. Yeah, I called her the Swiss Miss. From Lucerne, Switzerland, Tiffany. We'll catch you next time. Later.